What do you want to be called? FTR Smitty?
Yeah, that works.
That works.
Bet.
That works.
All right.
FTR Smitty, the college football betting expert.
And yeah, get as reckless with it as you want.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, and we're back. I told you guys last week that it was coming. CFB specialist, MAC correspondent, also our northern correspondent. This is the farthest we'd say we have somebody in our arsenal.
I would also say our most Western correspondent as well.
Right.
So you represent the West, like from where you're at to West Coast.
It is FTR Smitty, live from Cincy. Glad to have you, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. Gotta put on for the Midwest and I guess the entire Western part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get right into it. Do you have anything for week 0 that you want to talk about?
So the week 0 games, honestly, I mean, I know it's disappointing to say, but just the schedule in general, I just don't. There's nothing there to force a lot of bad teams playing. Nebraska, Illinois will get a lot of attention just because it's a Big Ten game. You got allegations of Nebraska, potential coach firing there with Scott Frost. Honestly, the only game I would even consider would be the Hawaii-UCLA game. But with UCLA playing LSU week 1 and Hawaii not being on the islands, I do not think I'm going to be taking either game. So
nothing.
We can move on to one. Nothing week 0. We can move on to the Thursday night games of week 1. I got 2 of those, or we could go any futures you guys want.
Let's hear the futures that you got for the people.
Okay, so I got 3 of them, and little background as far as how I manage the money. 1 to 3 unit better, but for these futures, I think there's less variable over time. So I think we're comfortable with going. These are all 5 unit plays. So these are the biggest bets I'm going to put out for the year, and I'm confident in all of them. So the first one we're going to do, headed ACC. We're going to take Boston College over 7 wins. It's at -140 on DraftKings. I've seen -150 multiple other places. The juice is worth the squeeze here. 6-5 team last year. Took two top 12 teams, North Carolina and Dylan's boys, the Clemson boys, all the way down to the wire in Death Valley. So two good losses there. I mean, combined 10 points. So I mean, for a 6-5 team, might not exactly where they want to be, but definitely can get better with Phil Jurkovec coming back, Zay Flowers, all ACC wide receiver, Zion Nelson, anchor of their offensive line, first team AP for preseason first team All-American. And return all 5 starters on that offensive line. I think they're really going to be able to get after it, score some points. And then the schedule
that's 5 units.
5 units. Schedule is very favorable. Let me pull this up real quick here. They started out with Colgate and UMass. That is as 2 guaranteed wins as you can get. It's
basically over 5.
And then you go to at Temple. So let's just put it down to over 4. Then these next 3 games, it can get tough here. They got a home date against Missouri, which I definitely think they can win that. And then they go to Death Valley again, so you're going to probably chalk that as a loss, 4-1. They're going to have an NC State at home. NC State's supposed to be that could get tough.
I got 3-3 right now, Smitty.
We're calling it 4-2. But
okay, all right.
We can give you the benefit of the doubt of it. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt of it. 3-3.
Okay, all right.
Louisville on the 23rd. That's a win. Louisville's a terrible team, absolutely underachieved for at least 3 seasons in a row. Then at Syracuse, another win, 5-3. Home against Vautech could be a tricky one. I like them to win it since it's at home. It's going to be a night game, 7:30. Place is going to be jumping. So I'm moving to 6-3 at Georgia Tech. I think that's another win, 7-3. Home against Florida State with Mackenzie Milton, second year Mike Norvell. They could be in for a bounce back season. I think that could be a tough one. That's 7-4. And then home against Wake Forest to call it a season. I think that's an easy win. So 8-4. And that's with them going 0-2 against Missouri and NC State. And both those games could be wins. So I think you're looking anywhere at absolute worst, a 7-5 team. So you'd be pushing, getting your money back all the way up to a 10-2 team.
And like you said, the juice is worth the squeeze.
Juice is worth the squeeze on this. Hold up, just
that
one
needs
second.
to be a
Gotta plug
shirt.
my phone in.
Oh, what is he grabbing?
I'm not sure what he's grabbing, but the first Smitty lock I heard, 5-unit lock, had me on my toes and pissed off. So I'm kind of glad, and I like it because I see him as a 7-win team. Like,
well, you get your money back.
yeah, okay. But I see it. I can go way more south too because there were some teams that I was like, fuck. All right, onward though. All right, that's the first 5-unit.
That's the first one. So these next two, we're heading to the MAC for both of them. The MAC manifesto out here. So first one, I'll give you the best one. Kent State over 5.5 wins. Available pretty much everywhere. Juice is going to be anywhere between plus money. I've seen on DraftKings plus 105 all the way down to minus 125. Take it where you can see it at 5.5. And it starts, they were 3-1 team last year in the 4 games they played, MAC play. Just a very, very complete offensive team. Definitely not a good defensive team. They could not stop a nosebleed last year. Very tough out-of-conference schedule here to start out the year, going to A&M, Iowa, and Maryland. So
they will be battle-tested.
They'll be ready for that.
They will be battle-tested.
Yeah.
Look, they're starting off 1-3, and I know that's hard to like swallow. Oh, like, you know, there's only 8 games left. You got to win 5 of them. So they start out at A&M. They get a home game against FCS school VMI, and hate to shit on the military institution here, but they're just not going to be able to beat the Golden Flashes.
Catawba College beat VMI in 2018 for reference. 2017.
So, you know, two them Big Ten games on the road, probably both could be losses. So you got 1-3. And then this is where it gets good for them. Going to the MAC play, you got a guaranteed win in Bowling Green. Then another home game the next week against Buffalo, who made it to the conference championship game last year, expected to regress a little bit. Whole coaching staff changed. Jarrett Patterson's gone, so people expect Buffalo to be taking a step back. Even if you call it a loss, they're 2-4. I know it's not great, but we move onward.
Buffalo did just get JMU's OC. People forget.
JMU's OC Shane Montgomery, talented as they come, a veteran of the game, but you know you can score on Kent State, but it's going to be about stopping them. Their offense was number 1 in the MAC last year, was scoring 49.8 points per game in the 4 games they played. Easily the best quarterback in the MAC, and Dustin Crum, who's a super senior, could be possible day 3 pick. Sean Lewis, the head coach, absolutely will be stepping stone from Kent State to go up into a higher conference, higher role. But back to the schedule here. Even if you call the Buffalo game a loss, you're looking at 2-4 at Western Michigan. Don't see this being too big of a challenge for them. I'll call it 3-4. Ohio, supposed to be a good team this year. At Ohio, I'll give Ohio the win. That's 3-5. Kent State at home against Northern Illinois on November 3rd. This is an easy win. Northern Illinois, one of the absolute worst teams in the country. 4-5. At Central Michigan, same thing here. Definitely better than Northern Illinois. I don't see them competing, though, with Kent State.
Is that chunky quarterback still at Central Michigan?
No.
He's gone? Okay, I don't remember his name. I just remember him being chunky.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. No, he's not there anymore. And then At Akron, I mean, that's all you need to know right
No,
there. That's an easy
Akron's
win.
awful.
And then home against Miami of Ohio to close out the year. And honestly, like, so you're already at 6 wins with Akron there. And honestly, like, there's gonna be a lot of coin flip games here, and with how the MAC is laid out, not a lot of points being scored. Anybody can win on really any given night, but I think this is a very favorable schedule. I think the only game I would really be concerned about is the at Ohio. Other than that, I think they could go 8-0 in the conference play, if not 7-1. So definitely 5U over 5.5 wins for Kent State, and then we're gonna go a 1U sprinkle with Kent State to win the conference, plus 1100 on FanDuel.
Okay.
So is Kent State close to your heart? What's with the Kent State? Okay.
I mean, as far as these MAC schools, like I got no skin in the game. Just watching them last year, they easily passed the eye test. And again, like their offense, they're bringing back 9 of the 11 starters. Again, like when you have in a conference like this, when you have the undisputed best quarterback and arguably the best coach, at worst probably the second best head coach, I mean, you're so far ahead of the 8 ball right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they certainly passed the eye test, and I think they're easily a bowling team. Like they're going to be playing a bowl game, so they'll definitely get 6 wins. Whether they can win the conference or not will come down if their defense can figure out how to stop a nosebleed. So that's all we got there.
I forgot how juicy Maction is until I started hearing all those names. Yeah. I don't know about the Buffalo take, but it is what it is.
What's your next one?
All right, so we're staying in the MAC. Now, this one, I know not everyone has access to these books and everything. So on DraftKings, this is the only place I've seen this win total at 4. But Northern Illinois total on DraftKings is at 4. Everywhere else I've seen it at 3.5. So I will say it, if you can get it at 4, take the under 4 wins at 5U. If you can get 3.5, we'll call it a 3U play at plus money. So
how bad is Northern Illinois?
So let's go through it here. 0-6 last year, all in the MAC. So just got absolutely swept up by the conference. Head coach, what's his name? Thomas Hammock, I believe. I don't want to butcher anything here, but I believe yes, Thomas Hammock. Just an unqualified head coach. Reading that Northern Illinois didn't want they were sick of their coaches getting pulled by bigger schools, and we all remember the Jordan Lynch days. Those Tuesday, Wednesday night action games were electric, and Northern Illinois was a great team back then, and not so much anymore. They hired this Thomas Hammock, who has no inclination to be a head coach at this level. Running back coach, and that's his highest experience. So I don't know how he made that jump. And they're rolling with him. They gave up conference high 39 points per game last year in the 6 games they played, scored 10th, so third lowest in the conference with 24 points per game. 0-6. Yeah, again, 0-6. Let me pull up their schedule for this year. We'll take it through that. They're just simply not 5 winnable games on the schedule, which is why it's so confident at the 5 or at the under 4. I think it'll definitely cash at under 3.5 as well. But always good to have that safety belt. So open up the season at Georgia Tech. Just simply not going to be a win there. Then they move on. You got something to say?
No. I was just moving it.
Okay. Yeah. And then they got a home date against Wyoming. This one could be a little interesting. Wyoming was a 2-4 football team last year without their quarterback playing, which definitely hurt. I think they're in for a bounce back season, and I think they can definitely handle Northern Illinois. So we'll call 0-2 at Michigan, 0-3. They do get a home date against FCS Maine. That will likely be a win. So that's 1-3. Why that is?
Yeah, Thomas Hammock does have zero business being a head coach. I just looked at
Absolutely
his
zero.
coaching career, and he's only ever been a running back coach. He was a grad assistant, and I was reading that whole thing. That's brutal.
He looks like Romeo Crennel.
It's crazy that he was able to make that jump because you got people. I'm not going to mention any names, but people who've been working their ass off, putting quarterbacks in the NFL, going through the coordinator game, and they're still coordinators. So
We're not naming no names.
you take it for what you know. Anyways, back to the schedule. So we're looking at 1-3, going against a home game against Eastern Michigan. I've seen people say that this could be a win. I honestly do not see it at all. Eastern Michigan has a very good quarterback, another good quarterback transfer coming in, so at least one of them is going to be very good. But honestly, we'll give them the skin in the game. We'll call it 2-3, and then they go at Toledo, which is going to be a loss, no doubt about it. Home game against Bowling Green. Bowling Green is probably the absolute worst team you've ever seen.
That's gonna be
another win.
that's gonna be the toilet bowl of the year.
Which one was it last year? The toilet bowl.
Bowling Green Akron played last year,
Yeah.
and Akron waxed them by 28.
Yeah.
So honestly, yeah, we'll call it 3-4 there. Even though I really think Eastern Michigan will handle them. Just to play it safe, we'll call it 3-4. At Central Michigan, they're absolutely not going to win that game. Then they got a bye at Kent State on a Wednesday night. We obviously know how I feel about Kent State. Absolutely no way. Ball State Cardinals coming off reigning MAC champs. Again, media polls have them. MAC media polls have them projected to win the West Division. Ball State just not going to slip up there. At Buffalo, another one that they're not going to win. And home against Western Michigan to call it a year. I just do not see a win here. Again, when there's the problem with these futures, the only real risk is the risk injury to key players. But when you're taking an under, obviously injuries can only help you. The only sense of real optimism coming out of Northern Illinois this year is that they have Michigan State transfer Rocky Lombardi coming in to be their QB1. If anybody watched any Rocky Lombardi in the Shrek unis last year, you know that he was ran out of town and that he's just, he's going to the MAC, but he wasn't a Big Ten quarterback and he's not going to be anywhere near a top 6 quarterback even in the MAC. So, again,
So you got him at 3-9?
I got a 3-9 there. I think they could be, I would say anywhere between, you could call the Western Michigan, I guess it's possible. I'll give that possible. And I'll give the Eastern Michigan possible. Maine is very likely, and Bowling Green, I would say, is very likely. So I see them being anywhere between a 2-10 and a 4-8 team. And get so it's at under 4. Put it all on it, because there's just not 5 winnable games on this schedule. At the absolute worst, you would get your money back. At under 3.5, I think it's very likely this cashes. I would still very confident on it. Obviously, you don't have the safety net. But you got plus money, so no juice to squeeze.
Was that the last one of the futures or no?
Yeah, because the fourth one was the Kent State MAC.
Okay,
The MAC
all right,
title.
bet.
Well, that's all I got.
No Ohio State over future?
No, I think so. Anybody, and let me just, for the viewers, anybody that is dumb enough to take Clemson over 11.5 wins, they don't deserve to have money to bet. Because is it very likely that they go undefeated if they get past Georgia week 1? Yes. But you're starting a quarterback with essentially no experience, a quarterback who very easily could have been 0-2 with a home loss to a 6-5 Boston College last year. There's just absolutely there's just no way you're taking that. So anyone, I'm not telling you to take the under, because it's not fun to, it's not fun to fade Clemson, and Georgia's definitely got key players banged up for that week 1 showdown already. So, they could definitely get in and out of there with a win, but it's not guaranteed wins from there. I know they.
What about Cincy?
So obviously, Cincy fan, I try not to take it into the bias, but at over 10, I think at absolutely worst, you would push this. I think they got listen. Two preseason All-Americans on the defense in Sauce Gardner and Majai Sanders. Potential Heisman finalist quarterback in Desmond Ritter.
You did not
All
just
the
say that.
receivers.
Heisman finalist.
He's what? He's got the 9th best odds right now. I said potential Heisman finalist. He has
Okay.
what, the 9th best odds? Check me on that.
All right,
It's
no,
what,
I believe
28
you. I believe you.
I'm not saying he's gonna, but it's potential. Like
Okay.
last year, his first 3 games were terrible. I mean, people were talking about him possibly getting benched. You know, they barely beat Army. They beat them by 14 points, and they had a kick return touchdown that game. They played South Florida. The defense created 5 picks, and they still couldn't even cover the 21-point spread. I mean, that was just absolutely awful play. But from there, they went at SMU as a +1 dog, beat them 42-13, then came home the next week against Memphis, -6.5 at the time, waxed them 49-10. At home against Houston, -10.5 favorite that week, waxed them 38-10. So they hit their stride and they went against a Georgia team. And a lot of people in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl said that, you know, it was Georgia's JV team. And they did have players out, but since he had their 2 All-Americans in Sauce Gardner and former safety Derek Forrest out of the game, and then probably their most important offensive piece, left tackle James Hudson, was ejected from the game with 16 seconds left in the half on an out-of-bounds late hit. And then from there, it was, you know, they really couldn't get the offense moving. And yeah, I mean, they lost essentially a road bowl game. It was in Atlanta to a good Georgia team at the buzzer on a 50-yard field goal. So
not wrong.
They're definitely a good team. I would say they're a great team. I mean, their defense is going to be clamps.
A beat Indiana team?
I definitely think they can. I mean, I think so. Indiana's biggest problem from what I see and what I've read is that their offensive line is terrible. Probably I've seen them 9th ranked in the Big Ten. And Cincy's biggest strength, without a doubt, is their defensive line. And so you got a quarterback coming off injury, coming off an ACL tear with no offensive line. And I know they got Freifogel, but when you got Sauce Gardner out there, he hasn't given up a touchdown in 2 years of playing. Second team All-American last year. I mean, it'll be a fun matchup. I think right now it's a pick 'em at Indiana. And yeah, I think they can definitely go in there and get a win. And so we'll call it a loss for the, you know, for the bet, for the sake of the bet. They got a bye, and then they go at Notre Dame, and call this bias all you want. I know it's hard to win in Notre Dame, but since he should not be dogs in that game, as of right now, they're 3.5-point dogs. You're giving Luke Fickell 2 weeks.
I'll give them the Indiana one. I'm not giving them
why?
Notre Dame.
No, but why not Notre Dame? Who's their quarterback, Mitchum?
Wait,
You don't know. You don't know.
Look,
Because
You
you know nothing about college football. This is why we wanted Tyler to come on, because
I don't know why you're beefing with me. I just don't.
Because you don't know anything.
I'll put $1,000 that Notre Dame loses to Cincinnati someone. I swear.
Oh, you think Notre Dame's gonna lose?
Vice versa. It's just your red face at me right now. But Notre Dame will beat Cincinnati.
Wait, Notre Dame or Notre Dame?
Notre Dame will nut in her dame.
Let me just explain here. I'm not saying this is a guaranteed win. I'm not gonna be like that. But Notre Dame returning one of the least returning production teams in the country. Quarterback Jack Cohn, who was benched for Graham Mertz, who we saw after the Illinois game wasn't that great. And they, you know, offensive line, 4 out of 5 starters gone. I know they can reload. Kyron Williams, probably, in my opinion, the best running back in the country. So they have talent. But Cincy, they are coming off a bye. You're giving Luke Fickell 2 weeks to prepare for this team. And win or lose against Indiana. If they lose, they're motivated to get back on top of the G5 standings to get to the New Year's Six Bowl. Win, you're probably a top sixth ranked team in the country. You got the biggest game in school history coming up right there. Because, I mean, if they win that game, you're talking about potential G5 team breaking into the college football playoff. So win or lose the Indiana game, they're motivated balls to the wall to win this game. Notre Dame, the week that Cincy's on bye the week before, has a neutral sited field game with Wisconsin. So when Cincy's got 2 weeks to prepare and Notre Dame's going to be in a dogfight at, I believe it's at Soldier Field with Wisconsin, you know, that matters.
I'm all in, Smitty. I'm all in with you. I'm all in on Cincinnati. Like I
mean, Cincy's a good team. Like they proved time and time again, ratings don't matter.
This is the one that, and it's just like in fantasy football when someone knows nothing about fantasy football and they just win it. This is the same thing with me in college football. I know not shit. That's not my element. Notre Dame will beat Cincinnati. I will put my life on it.
So you'll.
I will, yes, actually, that's a quote. I will. Cincinnati loses to Notre Dame.
I'll say this. As a Cincinnati fan, I fear the Indiana game more than I fear the Notre Dame game. No chance in hell Jack Cohn beats Cincinnati's defense. I would be shocked. Would be an understatement.
All right, so give us your.
We'll call it a split with them. We'll call it a split with the Indiana Notre Dame, and the rest of the schedule. You know, they go through a pretty weak American Conference. They have a home game against UCF. Desmond Ridder, 31-5 in his career as a starting quarterback. Never lost a game at Nippert. That UCF game is going to be a nip and night show. No way they lose that game.
All right. Now that we're done with the futures, give us the week 1 Thursday night, your best bet of the week.
My best bet for week 1 Thursday night. I know people are going to want the Ohio State show, but I'm not going there. And it kills me to say I'm even going down to Tennessee, but that's exactly where we're going. They got a home game Thursday night, Pack Stadium against Bowling Green. They're minus 34. Now, the pick is going to be the first half lines aren't out yet, but the first half will be anywhere between 18 and 20.5. It will not be 21 if the line is 34. So it's going to be first half Tennessee minus the points. Reason for this pick, Josh Heupel is there to prove he belongs. Had an absolute stellar offense every time he was at UCF. Anyone that watched UCF the past couple of years know that they just hurry up to the ball. They got plays already ready to go. They're going faster than anybody. And in his 2 FCS games that he played down in Orlando, and I know Bowling Green's not an FCS school, but damn, they might as well be because I know there's some FCS schools that could beat them. UCF won combined margin in those 2 games 100-0. And I think, again, Heupel wants to prove that he belongs. He wants to get that bad taste out of the Volunteers fans' mouths after the very disappointing season they had last year. And I think he'll definitely pour it on. Just absolutely outmatched with athletes. I would expect nothing less than a 28-0 or above first half.
I was thinking you were going to
31-3. This team lost 31-3 to Akron last year. I mean, they're just not going to go into a packed.
So we're on the fade. We're on the fade Bowling Green train.
I mean, essentially, yes. I mean, I didn't take their. I'm not going to take their season win total under because it's like 1.5. But yes, I mean, for this Thursday night game, that's the one I got circled for the Thursday night. So that's my best bet I can give you for the Thursday night. And yeah.
What do we think about App State ECU game at App? I don't know if you looked at that one.
All right, so I haven't put a ton into that, but I will say this. If ECU has their same quarterback, which I believe they do, I'm like 95% sure they have the lefty quarterback still. I'm not sure his name, but I'm 95% sure they do. He passes the eye test. Talented player, no doubt about it. App State with Chase Bryce, the definition of someone who does not pass the eye test. I mean, how he could have been a Clemson scholarship player under Dabo Swinney is truly mind-blowing. And, you know, you watch him at Duke last year, he just was not going to get it done for you at any given moment. And yeah, so, I mean, I don't have anything other for that game than that. I have no idea even what the line would be, but I would say that I know East Carolina can score points.
I think it's 10.5 App. I like App. It's in Boone.
No, it's in Charlotte.
Well, oh fuck, it's at the bank.
Well, Smitty, what'd you think? That's pretty informational, don't you think?
Got me red in the face. I'll say that much. That was my first take at Smith.
Best time of the year is coming up, boys. So it's about to be Christmas morning there on September 4th. So I've been, been away from the gambling side. I absolutely despise the MLB and the NBA. So really, pretty much the worst day of the year is the NCAA Men's National Championship. So I'm absolutely foaming at the mouth to get back to it. So.
No, yeah, I am pumped for people to either be pissed and hate you or love you. I know that people are going to pick a side. And, all I'm going to say is I haven't picked a side yet. I don't have much Midwest knowledge. So I will say this. I will remember that. I'm going to go back and remember these. And I will be the scumbag.
You write them down. You put your own money on these tickets, and we'll make money this year. Absolutely.
Right. I like the confidence.
Personal guarantee. And hey, you got skin in the game now on Tuesday, Wednesday nights with the Maction. Games that you never thought you'd want to watch. Now you're gonna want to watch. And I'll be back for week 1 if you guys have me. So
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Smitty would love to have you back for week 1 for a full slate of games.
Absolutely. Would love to do it.
Thanks for coming on and talking CFB, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yep. Have a good one.
Yep. See you, brother.
Bates, y'all are going to be the biggest. Yeah.
Why?
Who was the first team he said?
Kent State.
He said Kent State was going to beat UCF, and UCF was going to beat Tennessee.
Oh, no. He said Boston College.
No.
God blue on the track.